exactly what the Supreme Court has said when it comes to laying down such guidelines and issuing as far as give time to challenge if there is a demolition expected to happen, give time to also arrange for alternate, especially when it comes to the family there, and must give at least 15 days time to make alternate arrangement. There are set guidelines now. Harish, if you can take us through in the important observations that have been made by the Supreme Court today.
Yes, that's right, Amita. Landmark judgment as far as the raging controversy over bulldozer action is concerned. Supreme Court bench of Justices B.R. Gavai and K.V. Viswanathan very clearly saying that it's a very pathetic, poor sight to see women and children lying on the roads after their property is illegally demolished, and said that such action, such high-handed unilateral action has no place in a country ruled by rule of law. Saying so, Supreme Court has laid down 15 guidelines. Let me take it through for the viewers. It says that sufficient time has to be given to challenge the particular demolition order. That is 15 days time. Proper notice, show cause notice has to be issued. Proper hearing has to be given, and also adequate time to find an alternative shelter. And in case, and also the demolition has to be videographed, and if the property is finally found to be an illegal demolition, that particular official will have to pay from his pocket and restitute this and restore that particular property, and contempt of court action against all illegal officials. And the only exception being that being illegal construction in public land, government land, streets, footpaths, and also property abutting river bodies, and also forest land. Except that in any other property, any other land, if such illegal demolition is conducted without proper procedure, without adopting the procedure established by law, it will be deemed as illegal, arbitrary, and unconstitutional. This is what the Supreme Court has very clearly said, and also said that a collector and DM to appoint nodal officers in charge of demolition. Notice shall have nature of violation, a date on which personal hearing is fixed. Also, the Supreme Court has said that opportunity to be given to the owner to demolish or remove the unauthorized structure within 15 days of order, and only if appellate body has not stayed the order, the steps of demolition shall take place, and proceedings of demolition to be videographed, video to be preserved, said demolition report to be forwarded to municipal commissioner. And Amita, very important point is point number 14, which says all directions to be adhered to, and not comply with these directions will lead to contempt and prosecution and of officials, and,
right.
And the officials shall be held.
Harish, does it make a mention also when it comes to the role of public officials, who are found in contempt of the order will be held accountable?
Yes, that's one of the most important direction. Remember, Amita, the Supreme Court has said that basic foundation is the presumption of innocence, because there is a violation of separation of powers also, because the executive cannot punish a person, cannot declare a person guilty, and only if a person, even if a person is found ruled guilty, even if he is a mere there is an FIR, or if he is a mere suspect or an accused, a property cannot be demolished. No property can be demolished without following the procedure established by law, and only if there is a violation of town planning rules, panchayat rules, and also municipal law rules, town planning rules, only then a property can be demolished. Just because a person is just because an FIR has been lodged against a person, or if he is a mere suspect, or just an accused, or even if he is a convict, it cannot be linked. His demolition of property cannot be linked with any particular criminal case against a particular person. This is what the Supreme Court has repeatedly emphasized, and has said that and has laid down all these important guidelines. Remember, Amita, how this issue came to the court is that several Muslim organizations, Muslim individuals who are accused of riots and against whom FIR was there, they said that Muslims are being singled out for such punishment.
Right.
Only their property is being
well, because we also talk about as far as the political angle is concerned, because this is legally what the Supreme Court has come out with, but it's a very important observation. Says Bhavtosh and Harish continue to be with us. Let's talk about politics now at play. With the elections now around the corner, Adeep, because we've been speaking now and getting reactions from the Samajwadi Party leaders, they are welcoming what the Supreme Court observations are on bulldozer action.
Well, definitely, Amita says not just the Samajwadi Party, but the Congress Party and entire India bloc, they will be welcoming the verdict of Supreme Court, as they had been saying that bulldozer cannot be a mean for the justice. In fact, Akhilesh Yadav has been very vocal about when it comes to the bulldozer action in the state. Remember, Uttar Pradesh was the first state to come up with the bulldozer action, and in fact, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was also given a nickname sort of with the term being used as bulldozer Baba. So all these action of the bulldozer action it began from the Uttar Pradesh, and now all the opposition parties, they'll be training their guns at the BJP for using the bulldozer in Uttar Pradesh. But Supreme Court has set a fresh set of guidelines, and they have given a landmark judgment. And this elections around the corner, with the elections, the Uttar Pradesh by-polls and the polls in Jharkhand and Maharashtra, opposition will be using this verdict, and they will be training their guns at the Bharatiya Janata Party to corner them, and saying that the BJP was using bulldozer in an illegal manner, and now Supreme Court has intervened in it. They have created a fresh set of guidelines and made a very stern and
well, let's get in more political reactions. Adeep, Harish and Bhavtosh, who continue to be with us. Pramod Tiwari ji bhi हमारे साथ फोन लाइन पे जुड़ गए. सर, क्या कहेंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑब्जर्वेशंस पर?
ये तो हम हमेशा से कहते रहे कि ये पूरी तरह नेचुरल जस्टिस के खिलाफ है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के खिलाफ है, और ये एक पॉलिटिकल टूल बन गया जाति धर्म के आधार पर. भारतीय जनता पार्टी क्या माफी मांगेगी? जो कुछ उसने किया है उनके शासित राज्यों में हुआ है. आप बताएं, कोई दोषी अभी सिद्ध नहीं हुआ. आपने उसका घर गिरा दिया, उसका प्रतिष्ठान गिरा दिया. अच्छा, मान लीजिए वो दोषी सिद्ध भी हो जाए, तो आपको ये अधिकार कौन देता है? उस घर में रहने वाले माँ बाप, बच्चों का, उनका क्या दोष? ये पूरी तरह संवैधानिक था. हम कह रहे थे, और आज माना सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने. मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी सार्वजनिक रूप से इसके लिए क्षमा याचना करे.
जी. Thank you very much, Mr. Pramod Tiwari, for joining in. Well, that is how the Congress has been reacting, because politics at play as far as the reactions that have been coming in on what the Supreme Court and its observations, very strong observations that it has made on what is often cited as bulldozer justice. But in the meantime, Bhavtosh, there needs to be a distinction that needs to be drawn on certain activities which are already said to be illegal in nature. Has the Supreme Court also talked about that, especially when it comes to the basic premise that comes out from today's observations is that the rule of law or the due process of law in every aspect needs to be followed. Let's play out a live reaction first of all that is coming in.
And rest of the houses will not look at. The state has a duty to not be biased, to not be prejudiced, and the court has to unfortunately remind the state of its duty.
Right, Bhavtosh, if you can take that question.
Well, Amita, the fact is that the demolitions that have happened in past, some of them were very arbitrary. The victims who were living in the house said that the accused were distantly related to them. In some cases, they have said that the property did not belong to them. In some cases, the landlord claimed that the accused was living in those properties. So there were a lot of confusion. Now, if we just look at the example of another agency that attaches property, the Enforcement Directorate, they attach properties claiming that these properties have these properties are from proceeds of crime, and they carry out their investigation over a period of time. So there is an agency that also attaches property, but they attach property, they don't demolish property. So there is a precedence where such actions are taken over one can say immovable properties. Having said that, it is the observations that have been made by Justice Gavai which are very important, and all political parties should in fact sit and ponder over them. Justice Gavai has said that for an average citizen, construction of house is a culmination of years of hard work, dreams and aspiration. House embodies collective hopes of security and future. If this is taken away, authorities must satisfy it is the only way. This is what the Supreme Court has said, that demolition of a house is something that should be thought very carefully before this is done. This is the order that has been given by Justice Gavai. One has to wait and see what would be the final order which is uploaded. But most important is the fact that the court has said that if this order is not followed, then government officials would be held guilty of contempt of court.
All right. Well, that's the legal aspect that we are talking about as far as the strong observations that has been made by the Supreme Court of India, especially laying down guidelines, giving time to challenge demolition, give time to arrange for alternate arrangements, must give around 15 days to make that alternate arrangement. Violation of this order is also contempt, and demolition action must also be videographed. All of these guidelines has been set forth in this very important and landmark verdict on part of the observations that has been made by the Supreme Court. What does it have as far as the impact and effect on the political situation on ground? We'll be talking more on that, getting as many political reactions, exclusive reactions playing out right here